Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Today we will be reading Reddit stories and building my dream Minecraft world. These Minecraft sunsets hit different. It's been a while since I played this game, so go easy on me. So let's read some drama and judge some people. I will give you a hint. Would you let someone film your childbirth? Let's start with this crazy one. Am I an asshole for telling my father and his girlfriend that the gift she got me was creepy and invasive? So this is a story about a father who surprised his daughter with an unusual gift. Seems interesting. Let's read about it. I'm expecting my first child due in February. This is the first grandchild on both sides, so everyone is very excited about it. My father's girlfriend, Lena, and I have an okay relationship, but we're very different people. I don't like most of the things she likes, and vice versa. There's no bad blood between us, but she can be a bit pushy sometimes, so we're not exactly close. One of the biggest differences between me and Lena is our stance on influencer culture. She loves it. I don't. Since I got pregnant, she's been sending me posts on Instagram of random influencers talking about their experiences with childbirth, motherhood, etc. A few months ago, one of her favorite influencers gave birth and filmed the whole thing. She posted a cutesy, poorly edited video of the baby being born and her entire family watching from outside the delivery room, with country music playing in the background. Lena sent me that video, and I remember telling her I'd never do something like that. My husband and I celebrated Christmas at my cousin's place with the rest of my family. When it was time for us to exchange and open our gifts, Lena gave me an envelope. Inside was a videographer's business card. She told me she was hiring him to film my birth. I seriously cannot imagine being filmed while going through a medical procedure, and I don't want anyone besides my husband at the hospital with me. I've been clear about that since I announced my pregnancy. I didn't want to embarrass Lena, so I thanked her when she gave me the card. Yesterday, my husband and I had lunch with her and my father, and I told her that while I appreciated the gesture, I didn't feel comfortable with the videographer. I said she didn't have to get me anything else for Christmas, but I'd appreciate it if she didn't hire him. She and my father got offended when we ended up having an argument. At one point, Lena started crying and said she couldn't understand why I'd pass up on the opportunity of creating such a beautiful memento of my child's birth. I replied that I found the idea of having someone film me during such a vulnerable moment to be creepy and invasive, and that this wasn't the first time I expressed I was uncomfortable with it. My father said that it was rude of me to say that and refuse the gift, and he's very disappointed in me. My husband agrees with me, as does pretty much my whole family. I don't really think I did anything wrong, but my father's reaction is freaking me out. It's the craziest vibe when it rains in Minecraft. I feel nostalgic. I need some wood. To be fair, I wouldn't want someone recording my childbirth either. It does seem a little bit creepy. This next one caught my eye with a clickbait title. I read this briefly and it seems interesting. This story has some domestic violence aspect though, so if that's something that bothers you, you have been warned. Let's get into it. I'm 28 years old, man, a somewhat popular YouTuber. My wife, 27 years old, deleted my recordings because she has never seen my crying and I'm unemotional. Okay, so the guy posting this is a 28-year-old YouTuber, and his wife is a 27-year-old woman who deleted all of his recordings just because she's never seen him cry. Seems a little whack to me. First of all, please don't ask me who I am and my YouTube allies. I want to keep this anonymous. That's what he started it off with. Anne and I have been married for 9 months. We've been together for 3 years. Our relationship has been pretty smooth, and I love her to bits. However, we have a big personality clash. We've lived with it in the past, but it's affected her more than it has affected me. I'm more of a keep it all in guy, and I prefer to deal with my issues by myself. She, on the other hand, talks about her issues with me, and we work through them together. I've always been a little cold. Maybe steely is a better word. I'm not too emotional, Not that it's a good or bad thing, it's just the way I am. My wife and I were forced to put down our dog recently. He was my dog before we even met, but he became a bigger part of our family. She loved the hell out of that dog, and I did too. When I lived abroad for a year, he kept her company and she was very close to him. So we came back from the vet, and she was crying all the way. I was feeling really sad, but I wasn't really showing it. She asked why I wasn't feeling sad. I told her I was. She started screaming at me for not having feelings, me being inhuman, me being cold, and her being scared of me for that. I told her that I cannot force myself to cry, and I was feeling terrible inside. We get home, and she went off about how I'm barely human. She then went on and on about how she has never seen me cry. Not when we had broken up 1.5 years into our relationship, not when my mother died, not when I was leaving a year to work abroad. I told her that me crying doesn't solve anything, and she should quit bothering me. I went to bed. Next morning, I wake up and decide to edit some videos I wanted to upload. I work from home and I have one main computer to work from. It has 3 hard drives. The first one is my OS drive, the other 2 have recordings on them. I wake up to find the other 2 completely wiped. I freak out and irrationally think that it might have been some software or something. I try and see what the cause was, and I can't figure anything out. I had to put in so much work recording these videos. So much effort had gone into them. I broke down. I had backed up only the recordings from 2 months ago. I'm sobbing hard and I just feel pathetic. I'd lost so much of my work and I couldn't figure out how. My wife then comes in, sees me. I tell her what happened. She tells me she did it. She wanted to see me cry and didn't know how else to make it happen. She's happy she got to see that some part of me is human. She tells me it was healthy for me to let my emotions out. I swear to God, that's the first time I ever wanted to hit her. Whoa. I would have strangled her. I packed up a few things, laptop, phone, got in the car and told her that I'll call her when I'm ready. I'm staying with a buddy of mine right now. I need to figure this shit out. She was all apologetic and loving when I was leaving and was acting confused. I feel nothing but hatred towards her right now, but I need to be tactful in handling this situation right now. Help me figure it out. Immediately, my first question is, who is this YouTuber? This post is from 2015. So, this YouTuber was popular in 2015? I think we might know who it was. Hint, hint. Could be the game I'm playing. Man, this one really hit me. I'll be honest. I'm kind of cold-hearted too. Just like OP. I don't really cry at funerals or big life events either, even if I feel the pain inside. And yeah, people around me sometimes think I don't care, but the truth is, I just process things differently. That's why I feel for this guy. His wife pushing him to cry isn't the problem. It's the way she went about it. Deleting months of his hard work just to prove a point? That's not love. That's control. You don't break your partner just to see an emotional reaction. I get wanting a connection, but this is the kind of thing you can't undo. Honestly, if someone ever did that to me, I don't know if I could forgive them. Crying doesn't make you human. Respecting each other's boundaries does. Yeah, that last story was wild. Honestly, it just proves how different people handle emotions and how dangerous it gets when someone tries to force a reaction. These caves in the new Minecraft, they're crazy. But speaking of messy relationships, this next one takes family drama to another level. Imagine this. Your ex-husband starts dating someone 20 years younger than him, and your own family still invites him over like nothing's wrong. Would you snap? Would you get mad? Because that's exactly what happened in this next story. Am I an asshole for sending my family an angry email because they still speak to my ex-husband and even have him over? Especially in light of his present relationship with a girl 20 years younger than him? So basic background is, I'm 42, 2 kids, age 14 and 12. and signed divorce papers in April after almost having 2 years of it being drug out, trying to get my fair share from him. The details of why are not important, huh, but I'm angry, embarrassed, lost, and sad any given moment of the day. A lot of this has to do with feeling like I've been replaced by a 23-year-old surfing instructor who is everything I'm not. My husband and kids claim that she is just his friend and helping him learn his lifelong desire to surf. But Jesus Christ, give me a break. My husband has primary custody because he had better lawyers who were able to manipulate some minor missteps on my part into the court, seeing them as a huge deal. So this past weekend, I picked up the kids and said we were going to visit my parents. They said they would rather use their season passes to SeaWorld since they spent all weekend with my parents and Aunt Stacy and Uncle Brian, my brother and sister who I didn't even know were in town. I was like, your dad took you? They said yes, that my parents had invited him over to see everyone. I was devastated because while I don't get along with my brother and sister and my mom, they let my ex-husband know they were coming and not me. I can't even let that sink in without tears forming. I sort of jested that, oh, and let me guess, Miss Surf Instructor was there too. My daughter said, well, actually, we all went to her house in Ocean Beach because she gave Stacy and Brian lessons after ours. That included my mom and dad. I was so devastated I took the kids back home and just went home and cried for an hour. When I was done, I sent a furious email to my entire family how inappropriate they all have been, and that not only hanging out with my ex for an entire weekend, but his little chippy as well is a massive slap in the face. And the fact they didn't even tell they were in town, let alone invite me, makes me feel so alone. My mom was the only one to respond, and she basically said, yes, it was rude we didn't tell you, Stacy, that Brian was here, and we shouldn't have done that. But we didn't divorce Bradley, and we still see him as a son. This email, along with your behavior over the last 5 years, should really give you insight into why we might not want you at family events. In so many words, she called me an asshole for sending the email. Was I? Man, this one just hurts to hear. I can't even imagine how it would feel to have your own family side with your ex, and then also buddy up with the new girlfriend. That's brutal. I get that parents sometimes try to stay neutral after a divorce, but this isn't neutral at all. Inviting your ex and his new partner while leaving you in the dark? That feels like a straight betrayal. Honestly, I don't think the email was out of line. If anything, it was the only way to put your feelings out there clearly, because they obviously weren't respecting you. Sure, maybe it came out angry, but who wouldn't be? At the end of the day, your family chose to ignore your pain, just so they could stay close to your ex. And that says way more about them than it does about you. If I were in your shoes, I'd be questioning whether I even want people like that in my life anymore, even if they're family. Even a lot of comments back my opinion up. Yeah, that last one was rough. Having your own family choose your ex over you, that was just next level betrayal. Maybe I should build in here. Am I an asshole for telling my son he deserved his girlfriend breaking up with him? So my son had a long distance girlfriend recently for about 2 years. She was great, a really nice girl, and we all loved her. Welcomed her with open arms. She was flying here constantly to visit him, like a weekend a month, and he didn't lift a finger to go visit her. I tried talking to him about it several times, and told him he should really start looking into flying over to her instead of expecting her to do all the traveling. He said no, and my wife probably had something to do with it, as she constantly told him she was afraid of him flying. I spoke to them both and said this girl is great for him. She was willing to move over to our country too, but said there was one condition, and that was he'd have to fly over to her country too, which is fair enough. He said no, he didn't want to fly or travel anywhere. My son was becoming lazier and lazier, eventually telling his girlfriend and us that he was perfectly fine never traveling anywhere, including holidays, etc. Last week he told us she dumped him. I went on her Facebook page as we are still friends. She wrote us an apology letter about how she's upset it didn't work out, but these things happen, so we're on good terms. And looks like she's with a new guy already. Me and my wife have no doubt she was seeing him whilst still in a relationship with my son. I confessed to them both that I actually agree with her decision, and he should have accepted it. He did not treat her properly, and I hope he learns lessons for the next one, because he needs to make more of an effort. I said he deserves it for his lack of effort in the relationship, and for essentially just allowing this girl to spend all her money and time coming here all the time. My wife and son are very upset that I said this. Very, very upset. And my wife says I'm being horrible. Alright, flat out, I think the dad is right. The the son was being lazy. And to be honest, we all know girls take more effort. So you gotta look at this from her perspective. Or imagine you were the girl. How would you feel? You're making an effort for this guy 24/7, and the guy is just doing but fuck nothing. He's just sitting there on his ass, not caring, and it's like, you lost her. That is your fault. And I'm sorry to say that, but that should show you to put a little bit more effort into it. I wouldn't be mad if my dad told me that. If my dad told me that, I would understand it. I'd be, yeah, I get it. I was lazy. I messed everything up. I lost the love of my life. And so, point of the story is, Dad's right. That's a good dad for telling him. I wouldn't disagree with anything. And that's where we're gonna wrap it up for today. Honestly, these stories just keep proving one thing. Relationships and family drama can get messy. But now I want to hear from you guys. Was the dad in this last story being horrible or just brutally honest? Drop your thoughts down in the comments because I love seeing how differently everyone sees these situations. Oh, and if you were watching the gameplay, you probably noticed I finally finished laying the foundations for my Minecraft house. Next video, I'll start building it up, so stick around for that. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next round of stories. And trust me, the ones I've got lined up, they just get 10 times crazier. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.